Boise State faces Fresno State on Saturday, and suddenly it feels like the Boise State Broncos have a little bit of momentum. Fresno State continues to be one of the top teams in the league, and they are looking to continue their quest to win the Mountain West Championship. Boise State had a very impressive win against Wyoming, a team that beat Fresno State a few weeks earlier, and that was a nice game for Boise State. We had a lot of uncertainty about that program so far this year, and they sent a message that maybe this is still a good team. Now, the one thing I'll keep an eye on is what is the status of Ashton Genty? What is he going to be able to do given that injury last week? Now, they have George Holani back, so that's a nice depth piece. That's a nice piece that you can just throw in and create, be a starter. I think his experience is underrated in this scenario, but losing Ashton Genty definitely hurts. If he's not able to go, then we'll see what happens. But this rushing attack, for the most part, largely went through Genty, but they showed last week that they don't necessarily need him. They obviously do, but they can find ways to move the ball down the field. Eric McAllister's breakout performance was definitely one to keep an eye on going forward. Can he do that again against a Fresno State team that has a good secondary, but is without a guy in Cam Lockridge that's one of their best players? And that is the big question to me. Is this Boise State team going to build up this momentum, or was it just a one-off game where they got, I'm not gonna say lucky, but they found a way to win a football game against a Wyoming team that you can beat like this if you find the right way to beat them. And so far, Boise State, it's been a disappointing year. It's been a frustrating year, but maybe they can turn things around if they find a way to beat a Fresno State team that has been absolutely shredding certain teams, and they're finding ways to win close games as well. I think lately the close games have really given them a lot of experience when the going gets tough because you look at what they have remaining and what they have to go through to win the Mountain West, it's not going to get easier. It's going to get more difficult. And Fresno State is proving that they can handle those situations. Getting Mikey Keene back obviously helped tremendously. I think that offense moves a lot better with him in the system rather than Logan Fife. No offense to Fife, but Mikey Keene has been the biggest difference in this offense. He's the biggest reason why this offense has been so successful. The defense has been pretty good too. I think they've been very solid. The front seven has taken some time to get acquainted with each other. Now they're playing. It seems like they're playing a lot better than we saw at least at the beginning of the year. But this is still a group that will be the X factor here because Boise State can create explosive plays, and it's on the defense to get Fresno State the ball back even more because this offense, like I said, can score at an incredible clip, averaging 33.6 points per game. So maybe not the craziest, especially after the last few weeks, but this is an offense capable of putting up way more than that. So definitely keep an eye on that and what Boise State can do to at least potentially slow down this offense. I think when you're looking at these two teams, there's plenty of players to keep an eye on. There's definitely a lot of matchups that will be intriguing, will determine a lot. Even without Cam Lockridge, I think Fresno State's ability to slow down Boise State's passing attack will be just fine. Carlton Martial's really good. And I think when you look at a guy like Maurice Norris can handle life in the slot, maybe out wide, you have plenty of players that will be able to take care of business. The quarterback position is really, though, is what's interesting to me because if the Broncos want to be contenders and find a way to get McAllister more involved, the passing attack has to find consistency. And so far, Taylor Green and Maddox Madsen have taken turns showcasing their talent, but also reminding us that there's still a long ways to go for them to be consistent threats. And I think that's the difference between Fresno State and Boise State is their passing attacks. I think that both teams can run the football, but one team, Fresno State, is able to throw the football at an explosive rate, but also consistently. That's the thing that's really been missing for Boise State. The defense obviously has its own issues, but offensively, finding a way to be consistent throwing the football down the field is really where Boise State has struggled. When you look at the amount of talent they have, there's just still a very good program. And even without Ashton Genty, I think this offense has plenty of playmakers and plenty of talent to be able to make this an upset win. It's just a matter of putting that all together. And when it comes down to it, it's really what this defense for Boise State can do to Fresno State's offense. Can they create a lot of pressure? Can they wreak havoc on this offense in Fresno State? Because we've seen what happens. You look at the Wyoming game for Fresno State. That's how you slow down that offense. You're able to get into the backfield, create pressure, force Mikey Keene out of the pocket. That being said, Mikey Keene is one of the better throwers on the run. It's just that you have to make him make a quicker decision. You have to speed up his internal clock. And if he's doing that more often than not, he's going to get tired from running away. He's going to speed up that internal clock where he doesn't give his routes a chance to develop. And that's going to help Boise State. Finding a way to create pressure is probably the biggest thing that Boise State can do. Fresno State can do the same thing, though. And I think that their ability to create pressure does more damage to Boise State's offense than it would on the flip side if Boise State's able to create pressure on Fresno State's offense. Boise State still, like I said, has yet to determine who their quarterback's going to be. And that's going to be something to keep on for the rest of the year and into next year because they still have to figure out what's going to happen for next year. And the quarterbacks, we thought it was going to be the Taylor Green show, but Maddox Madsen has provided a little bit more consistency. Not the greatest quarterback, but still more consistency than we saw from Taylor Green, which is disappointing because Green is the better runner. So if you add a passing game to that, he becomes even more dynamic. Still, Maddox Madsen's been a nice piece for Boise State's offense, providing that stability, providing that consistency. And that could be a big difference in this game to be able to stay calm, make plays when you need to, and even when there's pressure in your face, finding a way to distribute the football to his playmakers. Mikey Keene knows all about that. He's been able to do a lot of good things. Lately, a little bit more on the inconsistent side, 4 interceptions to just 7 touchdowns. And I think that you're looking at a guy who is still getting familiar with this program. I think that he has a lot of upside to him. And I think that he'll keep Fresno State competitive for a while here. And he's been really fun to watch. I think that his fresh start from UCF was very much needed for him. And it's been fun to see what he can do in Jeff Tedford's system. When it comes to picking this game, Boise State, that win last week kind of makes you second guess. Okay, is this team struggling or are they taking a step forward? I think that there's still very much a lot of flaws that need to be fixed on Boise State's side, specifically at the quarterback position. And Fresno State's going to find a way to exploit those. Fresno State's offense is too explosive. And right now, Boise State's defense hasn't shown that they can be a consistent stopper of any offense. They're a little bit better at defending the run than the pass, but Fresno State likes to throw the football a lot, and that's where Boise State struggles. They're giving up over 276 yards through the air. They're giving up 6.2 yards per play. They give up explosive plays. They give up a lot of yards, and that's what concerns me in this game. And that's the reason that I'm picking Fresno State. I think that the Bulldogs just have too much talent on that side of the ball, and even if their defense struggles, Boise State has yet to show me that they can defend a passing attack like this, and that's the reason the Bulldogs have the edge here.